Oh, there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Reverse the Verse Live, Constellation Phoenix Edition. I'm your host, content manager for global video production, Jared Huckabee, and we've got what I think is a fun show for you today. It's a little different. We're playing with the format again. You know, if you watch our shows regularly, you know one of my frequent phrases is the only constant in game development is change. We are constantly trying new things with our shows as well as our development, and this week, we're taking elements of some old ship shapes and we're working them into our TV this week with a live in-engine preview of the Constellation Phoenix coming in just a few moments. Before we get to that, I do want to introduce our guests today, sitting immediately to my right. Who are you and what do you do for Star Citizen?
My name is Stephen Hosmer, and I am a systems designer at the LA studio, and I work on spaceships.
What are some of the spaceships you worked on before, Steve?
Before, I worked on the Aquila, the Aurora. Aquila? I don't know.
I throw you off.
Who knows how to
we're only a minute into the
pronounce
show
that
and I'm
name?
throwing it. I do. It's Aquila.
Aquila?
Aquila.
Really?
Not Aquila or Aquila or whatever. Fight me.
Who knows?
Fight me, chat.
I don't speak
Right.
Greek or whatever.
All right. So you worked on the Aquila. What else?
The Aurora, the Cyclone,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of things. I think I pitched in on the Caterpillar because it was a big ship. Yeah.
All right. And also joining us live from our studio in Austin, Texas, is Josh Coons. Josh, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing over there in LA?
Oh, you know, it's LA. It's like 75 degrees. It's nice and breezy, and it's wonderful. And
Everybody knows it. It's always 75 degrees over there.
pretty much. Josh, now, we like to assume that every show is somebody's first show, so why don't you tell the folks who are watching who you are and what you do for Star Citizen?
Well, my name is Josh Coons. As previously mentioned, I am in Texas, in the city of Austin. I am a 3D modeler. My focus is on ships. And
What are some of the ships that you've worked on in the past?
let's see. We've got the Delta.
Mustang Delta?
Yeah, that was my intro ship. The Constellation base exterior.
The Andromeda?
Also, did a little Chris Smith tag team action on the Xi'an Scout.
Mm-hmm.
And then my first baby ship, that's my baby, was the Cutlass Black. And now I'm on the Phoenix.
The Phoenix. Now, the Phoenix is a variant of the Constellation Andromeda. Makes sense that since you work so diligently on the Andromeda, that you would take on the Phoenix.
Yes, exactly.
So today we are touring the Phoenix. Folks who are familiar with our broadcast know that we have a ship shape program where we cover a lot of these things with interviews and stuff like this. We're gonna try to do all of our Phoenix stuff here in our TV this week, and with the virtue of a live tour. So I understand that you have the engine fired up for us, Josh.
I do, and
Right.
if we're ready, here we go.
Let's go ahead and switch your scene there. There you go. So this is the inside of the Constellation Phoenix in engine right now. I do want to, folks who follow our public roadmap will note that there's still some tasks left on the Phoenix. Some of those tasks are getting it fully implemented in the game client and flight ready and stuff like that. So
correct.
while that is still going on, we are operating with what is essentially final art. I understand. Is it final art, Josh, or are there still a couple things that we're tweaking?
Art is never finished. It's only published, as one of my great teachers taught me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very close to final. There's some tweaks here and there. We're going to run the bug gauntlet here pretty soon. That does give me a little bit of time to add a couple extra features here and there that if I ran out of time on certain things, I need to polish up.
All right.
That's the time when I get it in. So
Where are we right now? What part of the ship is this?
right now, we are looking at walking in from the next section of the Phoenix. This is what you're presented with. This
Gotcha.
is your foyer, if you will.
So the front portion of the Phoenix, the cockpit portion, is standard for most Phoenixes, or for most constellations, rather.
Yeah,
With the
so this
exception of the
ship,
Aquila has its own. And, yeah.
so this ship in initial planning was called as going to be the most amount of work to do as a variant. The neck, nose, tail sections are essentially a reuse from the previous base version and previous variants. But the body on the Phoenix had to be inside and out,
Gotcha.
completely redone.
Are there any, before we go into speaking about the bridge section, are there any like palette changes? Is it the same coloring and styling as the Andromeda, or is the livery different for the Phoenix?
So the Phoenix material itself is propagated through the entire
Gotcha.
ship. So everything on the interior and exterior is tailored towards the Phoenix palette.
Gotcha. So the geometry is the same in the forward cockpit section, but it will still look.
Technically, yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. It is the same.
So looking at this right now, as we get started, the first thing we notice is that amazing sigil that you have up on the wall. What's going on there?
So that just kind of came out after a while. I noticed. I get a ship. It's called the Phoenix, and then I learned the ship Constellation Phoenix. There actually is a Constellation Phoenix, so. Did a little bit of research. The little orange lights up there you see is actually the Constellation Phoenix. And then I wanted to do like a kind of like a front car hood emblem type thing for this ship, since it's a little bit more high dollar, polished type ship. So I did a little concept for the logo, and then it just started finding its way into everything. So that's like a projector shooting the image onto the wall, which has some effects to it. So yes, this is your front foyer here that you walk into.
We're already getting questions about the wood. Folks have noticed that there's been a previously built version of the Phoenix in hangars for some time now, since 2014. I think it's been there for quite a while.
A long time.
Oh, yeah.
But the wood is definitely different. It's a darker, richer wood. Now, I know you had a mission in mind when it came to the wood in the ship. Why don't you tell us what that was?
Yeah, that wood. I had a word for it. It's called. Is it?
Can we take a look at it while we talk about it?
Apartment home rental wood. Like it's like the base. It was like the most
hear the
basic
marketing department
wood.
screaming.
Luxury apartment home.
Well, like if you Google wood floor, like that's the first one and most common one that's going to come up. And common is not good for, a luxury ship. We want something a little different, a little more, something that would be expensive to install. And I wanted to get away from that base. Light brown colored. I literally just bought flooring for my own home, and that color is the cheapest wood on the planet.
The color for the older one.
Yes, and the older one. Yeah. So yeah, I've been doing a lot of research actually in real life about wood and the cost of it, the finishes on it, and what adds to value. And the more rustic and hand touched it is, the way more expensive. So actually reclaimed, recycled, like shiplap wood is really, really, really expensive. And then you get into the actual wood type, and that wood, if it's a rare hardwood, is like super, super, super expensive.
So you're basically saying that you modeled the wood in the ship after the most expensive wood that you could find.
Actually,
rarest and most expensive wood.
On the forums, I actually had people sending me links and wood types that were really rare, usually because they're endangered species of tree, and some of them just didn't look. They didn't look good if they were cut. You know what I mean? But yeah, I got a lot of suggestions online. As some of our viewers know, I'm on the forums quite a bit. I like to see what everybody's saying.
All right. So we've spent an amount of time here in the foyer. Anything else in the foyer before we can move on?
So now, why don't you get up to here to the main level here? We have two features that weren't present on the other one, and that is the first guest bedroom and the second guest bedroom. And we'll just scoot on in over here.
Remember, this isn't fully set up in the game, so the doors aren't operable yet at the moment. That's why we are in floating mode.
I'm currently previewing just straight up in the editor, the one I work in, to make changes. And we have our guest bedroom number 1. These are going to be a little bit more simple than the master bedroom because we can't have the master bedroom outdoing, or we can have the guest bedrooms outdoing the master. The master bedroom just has to be the best.
Yeah.
But you do get your own fish tank.
You do get your own fish tank, and I noticed the TV screen above the bed.
Oh yeah,
which has the Phoenix logo. I actually hadn't seen that yet.
I'll get you a better view of that here in a minute when we get into the other sections.
Right.
So that's guest spot number 1.
And when we go to the next bedroom, I want to talk about the sheets because there's a lot of review gates. There's a lot of review gates. We as the ship makes progress, we have to check in with Chris and make sure that we're going in the right direction. I remember a number of those review gates where the discussions of the linens in the Phoenix came up.
Yeah. So when we were doing, I initially took a stab at doing the bedding and stuff, and when it came down to like scheduling, I couldn't get back into. I had to load up ZBrush, and I needed organic sculpting. So we got a lot of help from the props team when it came to some other stuff to pick up some of the other areas, so I could concentrate just on the ship itself. So the props team contributed the linens and the bedspreads and a couple of other things that we shall see.
All right. So 2 guest bedrooms right off the main foyer entrance.
No idea on the thread count, though. If someone wants to go in there and actually count the threads, that would actually be kind of fun. We're now approaching the lounge area and the side seating area.
Now, when we first started talking about redoing the Phoenix from the first time it had been done in 2014, one of the influences you mentioned was Air Force One. And
yes. Air Force One, luxury airliners, yachts, luxury trains were referenced a lot. Most have a side split going down the side. Anybody like the European train style?
Mm-hmm.
If you've seen Harry Potter, that kind of thing. I pushed that as much as I could. There are some things that kind of push the design where you see this column over here. There is actually on the inside, this is the housing for the struts, the hydraulic struts for the lowering of the cargo.
Nice.
So that the 4 pillars in this room have to be there, and then the design went around that. So this would be your lounging area, space flight. You want to cruise around and just check out space. This is where you'd be. We've got more of a communal type seating arrangement here. Props team also with some nice fabric texture contributions here on this chair.
Just like the linens, I remember a lot of conversations about the chairs.
Oh yeah,
It's not just it's what would RSI chairs be like, and then what would RSI chairs for the Phoenix be like.
Yes, and that brought up a lot of unique questions about style differences, because RSI has its style, and its style really isn't luxury. It's not luxury style. So
Outside of the Phoenix.
Outside of the Phoenix, yes. So it's kind of like I kind of considered it. You take a lower end car company, and then they would do maybe the Eddie Bauer edition or whatever,
Right.
And then I approached it kind of like that. So in here, this is your main party area. I call it the party area. You have your full bar over here. You have your conference table room, also where the piano would be. Main compartment, plenty of space for all your party goers on your voyage through space.
Well,
Take a look.
yeah,
Take a look in here.
Yeah, one of the questions that came up in the Spectrum thread was whether Radagast, which is a whiskey for the Chairman's Club, could actually be found in the bar here.
It is, and there are, I counted last night, 6 bottles. There's 6 bottles.
Can we take a closer look?
Oh, yeah.
I've never noticed the frosted glass on the refrigerator down beneath.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
I like the frosted glass material. Yeah, we've got Radagast. We've got it.
Oh, yeah.
We have, you've got a fully stocked bar. We'll just put it that way.
Yeah, you do. Jeez. All right. Would you say this bar is baller, Josh?
I think it might be beyond that.
Josh has a standing directive to say to not say the word baller.
I'm trying not to say it.
So
I'm trying to use more refined words.
So we might tempt him from here to there. What about behind the bar? Like if you just pivoted 180 degrees, what do we see back there?
So yeah, during production, all this stuff started getting really tight because I wanted a really big open space here. So for the bar, I had to make sure my metrics were good. I cross-checked everything so that AI pathing would work back here.
Mm-hmm. Now, Hosmer, are these cabinets and everything that are underneath, are they going to be operatable? Will we be able to open them?
They are currently not openable. I think in the future we can make them openable. If
right now they're for
if there's something we want to access behind there.
Is that a dishwasher?
It is absolutely a dishwasher.
Is this the first ship with a dishwasher in it?
I think the original Phoenix actually had a dishwasher in it, and I think it just stuck in my head. I was like, it has a dishwasher.
So fancy.
Hosmer, what can you tell us about the dishwashing minigame?
The dishwashing minigame is definitely something you pawn off on your servants and you don't do yourself.
There is no dishwashing minigame. All right. Now, you teased it. I noticed we still have the moon roof.
I call it the galaxy roof.
Oh,
the moon roof
much
is
better.
a car
better.
term.
Much better.
And you're going to be looking at a lot more than just a moon.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can look at moons if you want, but I mean, you got a bigger view.
Gotcha.
Galaxy roof.
You dropped the piano in conversation just a few minutes ago, just casual, the piano. I understand. This would be a good time to say that yes, in addition to work on the Constellation Phoenix, we've begun work on the Hartwell Sentinel 88G, if I remember correctly.
Yes, Hartwell Music Sentinel 88G.
And where would that go in the ship?
So that is a setup item. So you can either have the conference table or your piano, depending on, I guess, your preference. If you want to have more meetings, you can have that. And if you want to have more parties, you can have the piano.
Gotcha. Are we set up to show us the piano?
I could load it in. I was just currently doing a pass on some tech for the keys. So
let's try it at the end of this.
Yeah,
let's try it at the end of this then.
So if you're in game, what you have to do to get to the piano is you're basically going to bring up your Moby class, and you can change your loadout through the VMA, and you'll be able to switch out the conference table and the piano just like you would a weapon on the ship.
Yeah. Now, this is a good time to remind folks that not everybody who owns a Phoenix owns the piano. The piano was a early pledge item when the Phoenix was first introduced in 2014. So folks who bought it in the original concept promotion, it came with it automatically. It was also sold individually. So there are actually people in the game who own the piano and don't own the Phoenix. At which point, I believe our intention is to allow you to use that in hangars
Yes,
and
yes.
stuff like that when that comes in. As for whether we will bring the piano back as its own item to buy or to pledge for in the future, that is still TBA. Let us know what you think on Spectrum. But no decision has been made in that regard yet. All right, so what do we got next?
So now, bringing the fish tank back over from the original one. So I think somebody on the forum actually recommended this. Fish tanks usually have a shipwreck in them, and this is a game about ships. So I took the actual Geo from the old Constellation Phoenix.
Really?
Yeah, like the Mark I Constellation Phoenix.
Get in there close. Let me see it.
Grabbed the LODs for it and made a little shipwreck out of it.
I did not know that.
There you can see our improving glass shader refraction. It changes pretty much every time I load up the editor, but
Yeah, they're still working on it.
I love it. Yeah, you got a little piece of history in your fish tank.
That's a really nice detail.
And then moving this way, on your right, you will see where the master bed quarters will be. And around the other side of this fish tank is where the hot tub is located.
Okay, now notice the hot tub is closed and covered. What do you do with the space when the hot tub is closed and covered?
You dance on it if you want.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
It's just space right now. But there's some extra space for you to have a party. And, if you want the hot tub, you can open up the covers.
Do we have the ability to open up the covers in this, Josh?
In the current, what I'm in right now, no.
Okay.
But what's below right now is still just the placeholder. We do have the props team picked up the hot tub after I took a single pass on it, and they finished it up. And they did a fantastic job. Right now, I'm working on a couple of metrics issues with it, so I can get it to fit in here. And I think they also remodeled the cover, and that was another one of the issues because it's animated. I think we had a little bit of metric issue there that I have to just correct really quick.
We have a question from the live chat. Hosmer, what do you think of putting a prisoner in the hot tub and closing the doors?
I think
Can the hot tub act as a
if you
brick?
if you put someone in the hot tub and they're sitting and then you close the doors, it actually just chops their head off.
Oh, that's awesome.
But I mean, like, not actually, but they would probably clip through. But
All right, well, we look forward to you guys testing it.
Yeah.
Testing that and telling us what it does and doesn't do.
It'd be cool if I pushed them down in there and you could
Yeah.
actually drown them in the hot tub,
That
or like boil them. You could turn the temp up. Don't get in the hot tub. It's a trap.
All right.
yeah.
So what is this on the outside of the master bedroom here?
So for the master bedroom, I think this was also a question about glass.
Yes.
About different types of glass. This is, you don't want people looking in. So I wanted to do frosted glass. This is my first run at it for the master bedroom. And you'll notice when I go inside that it is it's not frosted from the other side.
so it's like two-way mirror glass.
Yes. And this is the master bedroom quarters. And you have a good clear view out that side. That same glass technique's being used on the exterior windows. They're perfectly clear from the inside, but on the outside you've got appropriately limo tint. So
Nice.
you have your privacy.
Is that being utilized for the 600 i2? I think that the master bedroom that's at the bottom of the 600i. I think
They do have some frosted. I think they have 2 or 3 frosted glass materials in there for different purposes. And I reference those just a smidge when I was doing mine. And we'll go back out here to the front. This is the back end quarter. You'll notice the component storage space is located here, 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 and here. The components that were originally located in the body on the previous ships
Yeah.
that you have access to there via a control panel. And then this is how you would get to the tail for it's Archimedes for this one, right?
Yeah. It comes default with the Archimedes, although you could, of course, you swap that out and use a Merlin if you prefer a Merlin.
So, with that said, on the top end, there's also the issue that came up in the beginning was on the other Connies accessing rovers.
Mm-hmm.
So this ship, because it's not an open areaed cargo bay like on the other ones, that presented us with a new thing that we needed to do, which was if you drove in, you wouldn't want to get out and then go over to the other elevator and come back in and then come all the way back up. So we wanted an access point from directly the cargo bay to the main body room. So, and also, if you need to get out in a hurry, we have an access port here with a drop elevator. This all opens up, brings you down into the cargo bay, which has about 10 to 15% more space in it, so you can now walk fully around the rover, front to back and side to side.
It's got more width to it in space, but it's got less cargo space than the Andromeda.
Because of height.
Yeah, because of the height.
It is longer and wider, but because it's not the whole room, there is a roof in here now.
Mm-hmm.
The cargo space is this space. And yeah, I went more with down here. It's more RSI down here.
Typical RSI, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't spend the money to
What?
polish out.
Luxury cargo bay?
Yeah, luxury cargo bay.
Do we know what the new SCU count is for this?
I believe it's about 80 SU right now. Could change.
And of course, it can fit either the Lynx rover that this will eventually come with, or it can fit the Ursa rover, since the metrics for the two of those are almost identical.
Yep.
Oh yes.
Have you tried to fit a Cyclone? Cyclone's probably too tall.
The Cyclone, I believe, should fit.
Even the ones with the turrets, or
Oh, I haven't tried the one with the turret.
yeah, the base model Cyclone might fit actually.
Yeah, I think the base one would definitely fit.
Okay, we can't say I think definitely. Those are mutually exclusive terms.
My thoughts are definite.
All right. We look forward to you trying to fit a Cyclone in the bay and letting us know whether it works. One of the questions in the chat, what's your name is? Josh. We see all these amenities. Do we have a bathroom?
Yes. So the bathroom is going to be located in a familiar spot, which is in the neck area as well. The space in this room is more devoted towards, think of it like a bar, like a really nice bar that you go to. The bathroom's not really in the middle of the party area. You kind of have to walk around the corner, down some stairs to go to the bathroom. So the latrines are located in the neck.
There's always the hot tub.
Okay. So they're actually not in the luxury portion. Look at it in the front portion.
Bathrooms are in original locations.
Okay. Somebody's in the chat is asking, did we see a hatch on the floor of the master bedroom, or was that just a
No,
trick of...
there's no hatch. Speed up in here. This one's fully floored.
Good too.
Oh yeah, when you lay down in here, you should have a nice view of the cosmos as you're zipping by. I can't wait to see this thing flying at speed and just standing here and watching out the window.
Oh, it won't be long now. All right.
Oh, another problem we had.
Challenge.
Yeah, before the sizing, we had to change the sizes a couple times. So one of the problems was the missiles, specifically the ones that are attached to the actual tail that fold in this way, literally ended right here. So the window in the white box, they folded in, and like you were just staring down the barrel of missiles, and that wasn't cool. So we had to change proportions up a little bit, give them an inset, so they're actually housed about right here in the wall.
That doesn't change any gameplay effect. It still has all the same capabilities. It's just,
Yes.
you just change the visual of them.
Yeah.
They just got moved back a little bit.
It was a little menacing to walk into a room and then you're just looking down the barrel of all these missiles just aimed straight at your head while you're sleeping. I mean, I wouldn't want that.
Gotcha. All right, Josh, you got anything else specific to show us, or should we get to the Q&A portion of things?
We can do Q&A. I like Q&A.
All right. One of the questions that's come up in the chat a lot is the sizing. You mentioned early on when we started this tour, Josh, that you had to change the center portion of the ship a little bit, the metrics, to fit everything that you wanted to. Do we have the current measurements of the Phoenix? Is it particularly larger than the Andromeda that folks are flying right now?
It's not that much bigger. It is.
No, it's
I
not.
think Josh might have the exact measurements, but it's not significantly larger.
I wrote the math down for exactly. It's on my notepad here somewhere, but it was around, I think it was 7% in width overall, so multiplied by 2, so that's 14%, a little bit wider, and then the length, I think, was around 10%. Okay. So just those small numbers gave us enough space to do what we were wanting to do, because in the other one, it was just so small and it was symmetrical. When we went asymmetrical, we needed a lot more room.
Gotcha.
And we wanted to make it AI friendly. So the AI pathing had to have its space and the metrics had to be proper.
Cool. Well, of course, we'll get the actual measurements when when they get measured out and everything, when the pledge page gets updated and these ships enter the game in the upcoming Alpha 3.3, currently scheduled for October 10th at CitizenCon.
That is correct.
So many events. I call the games coming in. All right. So now's the time of the show where we take questions from you, the live studio audience. I keep calling it studio. I need a live non-studio audience. You can submit questions in one of two places, either live in the Twitch chat or on Spectrum, our communication platform at robertspaceindustries.com. You can do us a favor by prefacing your question with the word question in capital letters surrounded by brackets. It just helps our community management team pull them out from all the other conversation. Additionally, we put up a thread up on Spectrum a couple days ago to collect questions ahead of time for folks who couldn't be here live, and it also has the virtue of letting people vote on which questions they wanted to see answered most. So we do have some questions to get us started while those are coming in. Right off the bat, Hosmer, you've had it easy here. While we're doing the visual stuff, these we know from previous experience that most of the questions that come in during these live Q&A are design related. The first question off the top, the most voted on question, strangely enough, the Phoenix hull was originally the only model constellation that could equip one size larger power plant, presumably to power the point defense system and shields, making it slightly more durable than the other models. Has this changed to be balanced in some other way?
So we can't reasonably size up a power plant anymore because the sizes have changed since we first initially...
The entire system has changed since
The entire
2014.
system has changed.
Yeah.
So if we wanted to put a larger power plant in here, there just wouldn't be any room. So what we've done instead is we've put in upgraded competition class power plants. And what that basically means is what you usually think of a competition power or component, it would be like a racing
Finely
component.
tuned.
Finely tuned, high performance, but then the high performance that you're getting is the trade-off is going to be its durability. So, you're going to get more power out of the power plant, but you're going to have to replace it more often, basically.
We've talked about this quite a bit, and if you want the documentation on this, I'm going to recommend going to the Shipyard series of articles available on robertspaceindustrials.com. You've probably heard me say that quite a bit in recent weeks. Still good information there. Components have three basic tenets, stats, descriptors. There's the size, there's the grade, and there's the type. And there's the type. It's size 1 through 10, if I remember correctly.
I think there are up to 10, but I don't
When you
think we've
capital
actually
shit,
used any of them.
Yeah, we've built a scale that can allows us to expand to the future. You'll see the details there. But then the grade is grades A through E. As far as the quality, with A being the highest grade component and E being the I've got to get from point A to B, whatever I got, and then the type being the tuning. There's your civilian type, and then there's your military type, and then there's your which you just mentioned, stealth, and competition
and industrial.
Yeah. So one of the ways that since the size system changed and we can no longer effectively do a one larger power plant. What you're saying that we've done is we've improved it from a civilian type of power plant to the competition type.
Exactly.
So you'll get more bang for your buck out of that. Sorry, it's still it's one of those things as IFCS 2.0 comes online and item 2.0 continues to come out, our backers will get more and more information about this system. But we detailed it all almost exactly a year ago in the shipyard, so you can check that out.
There is like a whole bunch of documentation. We've figured out all of the different sizes, everything, and they all have names and descriptions, and we just don't have them all made yet. So.
All right, so another one, and we mentioned the point defense system in that. Did it keep the point defense system that now, through new language, is called something completely different? It's now called a remote turret, if I remember correctly. Does it have the remote turret with the gun on the rear of the ship?
So originally, when we started building the Phoenix, we scheduled everything out. Josh had to build all this stuff, and we did not actually have the remote turret system in the game when we started building the Phoenix. So when we planned it out, we didn't plan to build it yet because we didn't have the system. Now that we actually have the system, we have to go back, schedule some time to actually get that made. So when it releases initially, we won't have the point defense, or not point defense, remote turret there. But we're going to go back and make that at a later release.
Yeah, I can verify what he said because I was part of many conversations about that. What you see when you get it in 3.3 will be missing what you're expecting the remote turret, but we still have every intention to add it to the ship. It will be added when that remote turret system really comes online. Yeah, because until that point, it's just geometry that sits there doing nothing anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So, all right, Josh.
Yes.
How baller, i.e., strutless, is the bridge?
Well, if you're a true baller,
it's one.
Why are you flying the ship? Your chauffeur should be flying your ship, right?
Fair enough. I just read the question as it was written in the thing.
A true baller.
Two.
Come on, they're back here hanging out.
You gotta do better than this. I had you under 5. Under 5. You're blowing through them already. We're only halfway through the show. Actually, we're a little more than halfway through the show. All right, Josh. Some ships, like the Phoenix, have VTOL thrusters, i.e. the fans, the infamous RSI fans. Is it still relevant to the current design vision? Is VTOL the result of actual VTOL thrusters like it is in the Constellation? Or this question kind of goes around. Tell us about the VTOL thrusters. Are we still using fans? What's the deal there?
So they're there. They're set up. They're currently not... because we were doing that before we even had our planet stuff done, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
And the original plan was those were like atmospheric assisted. So you'd only use those like in Atmo. And so that feature just kind of got pushed to the back. And I'm dying to see it finished because I had to model and animate all that stuff, like every single one of those flaps, and the fans. I prototyped all that out and made all the fans for it. So I'm really looking forward to seeing those things open up and kick dust up when you're flying around.
We got a lot of questions can we actually load up the bridge and show people the bridge with the Phoenix materials? Is that an option?
Yeah.
All right. While you work on that, we're going to go to another question. I forgot your name for a second. Hosmer.
Okay.
I did. I just went. I looked at you and I went, I don't know who this is. All right, Hosmer. Does the Phoenix still have its a shielded cargo hold?
Shielded cargo hold.
The smuggler cargo hold.
Oh, the smuggler cargo hold.
Yeah.
So I think there was some confusion.
There was some confusion
with this because I had to really go back and look through a lot of old documentation to figure out like what happened here, like why was this missing, and like where did it need to be, and what I found was that the Taurus is the ship that actually has the smuggler's cargo hold.
because the Taurus is missing the bottom
Yes.
turret, so the bottom turret space was converted into the shielded
Yes.
smuggler's cargo hold.
Exactly. So on the Taurus, it has only the top turret, and then the bottom turret is replaced with a cargo hold. And then on the Phoenix, it actually has both of the turrets,
Yes.
similar to the Andromeda.
Yes, this got confused in a couple follow-up posts. It actually started here on RTV back in 2014 when our very own Ben Lesnick was on the show. It's one of those things where we're talking about four different constellations all at the same time, and some of our verbiage got confused. And Ben stated on RTV, as well as a post on the old forums predating Spectrum, that the Phoenix had this shielded double-blind cargo bay, except that there's no physical space for it because that goes on the Taurus and it goes where the turret was missing. If you look through the original documentation that's on the original pledge page, the original brochures, you'll find no mention of the shielded cargo bay on the Phoenix. That was a feature of the Taurus.
Yep.
So this has been a common misconception over the last couple of years, but we actually started clearing it up on a calling all devs. We had a calling all devs call a couple months where we started clearing that up, but we want to come back and do it again here. There is no special shielded cargo hold on the Phoenix. That is a feature of the Taurus, and we apologize for confusing the issue back in 2014. By mixing up our terminologies and stuff like that. But no, the Phoenix has the top and bottom turrets, which you can see there in the neck there. And because it has the top and bottom turrets, there is no space for a special shielded cargo hold. All right.
So if we were in the body and we come back in the neck, you can watch the material propagate back through here. And this is just if I literally slapped the Phoenix material on the RSI constellation without changing anything. This is what you get by changing material. This is the neck area, of course. And then onto the bridge. For the bridge, we still wanted the bridge to be like a bridge, like function over form. We put a little bit more into the actual seats, which appear to have their vert alpha messed up. So the leather's completely at 100% damaged.
Yeah, the vert alphas are messed up. The lighting, the interior lighting's not as it's supposed to be right now. So not prepared to show the bridge at the moment. We decided to try anyway. But so you get some sense of what the finished product will be, but of course, when you see it in 3.3, it'll be lit properly and with the verts correct and stuff like that.
Oh, I can actually show them if they want to see what the auxiliary state and the emergency state look like.
While you're doing that, we'll have another question for Hosmer. Does the Phoenix still have the heaviest armor out of all four variants?
Short answer, yes. I feel like there's probably a bigger discussion that needs to be had here. that's probably for like balance reasons and other things. But yes, it has different armor than the Andromeda. It's going to be better than the Andromeda, not by much really, but it is better. I think there should probably be changes in the future with how the armor system works, but I don't know what those will be.
Gotcha. All right. You change into the emergency lighting stuff now, Josh?
This is auxiliary. A lot of people on the forums, and I agree with these people. When it comes to the auxiliary states, like they were getting tuned like really, really dark. I mean, you couldn't tell where you were going. So I wanted to put a little bit more light in here so you can actually see where you're walking, and you can get to where you're going to turn the power on.
Gotcha.
So I've got a little bit more light going on for this auxiliary state.
I see some. I'm sorry, Josh. I see some conversation in chat about the armor, about whether it's better than a gunship or something. He said it's better than the Andromeda.
Better than the Andromeda, yeah.
The only thing that there's still a whole lot of game balance that has to go into all the ships in Star Citizen. So right now we're as far as the armor for the Phoenix, we're only saying currently our intention is for it to be a little better than the Andromeda. And that's the only comparison we're making as far as armor goes.
There's a whole other balance team that are looking into these things, and they're thinking about these things, and they've got spreadsheets, and they've got a lot of calculations, and they know a lot more about it than I do. And it's definitely something they have on their mind.
Josh, you want to try bringing in the piano if we can?
I was going to turn on the party lights if you like.
Oh, no, okay. No, party lights first.
And by party lights, I mean the lights that tell you to get off the ship.
Let's see, what else do we have for you, Hosmer? One of the other things. Let's talk about another thing. One of the back in the original brochure, we mentioned an additional expansion slot that all constellations have. It wasn't a feature for the Phoenix per se. It was it was an additional expansion slot for all constellations that would allow things like command and control functionality. One of the questions that came out was specifically about the command and control functionality. Is that still available for the Constellation?
Definitely.
Yeah.
I believe the co-pilot seats right now will have that functionality eventually. It's not in right now, and I think the original design was that you'd be able to swap out different modules,
run the
computer
stations.
blades, that kind of thing. That's something we plan to do in the future. It's not in there right now.
Yeah, in 2014, it was a feature unique to the Constellation line, but as the game has continued to develop and evolve over time, that is now a feature available to all, well, I should not say all, to most ships in Star Citizen. The ability to swap out computer blades and stuff and customize your different stations for different needs. So the Phoenix and the Constellation line has no special advantage to that above any other ship. It is just in line with everything else. So what was a new and exciting feature that we were testing in 2014 is now, and you know this from dozens and dozens of conversations of the year, something that we plan for the entire line of ships now. So yes, so it doesn't. Here's a theory crafting thing. Now you are known as that you are a ship designer. What happens a lot of times is people ask game design questions. Questions for subsequent gameplay that this ship is supposed to be involved in, like luxury. We know this is a luxury ship, so when we talk about the 600i or the 890 jump or just about any Origin ship now, and then of course we get lots of questions about luxury gameplay. I do want to note, and just because we're seeing it come in, I do want to say. Hosmer is a ship designer. Luxury gameplay is a gameplay systems designer. Question went on. We don't have the staff here today to answer that question for you, so we don't have any information for you. That was my long-winded way of saying I see your questions about luxury gameplay. I want to address them. We just don't have the staff here because that's not a ship systems thing. That is a gameplay systems thing. I would suggest, though, we have a monthly thread in calling all devs. I would suggest putting it there and voting it up so that I can chase down the appropriate gameplay system designer, maybe get you some more information on that, because I'd like to do that. But you guys do the questions. So, Josh, we see you loading in the Hartwell Sentinel right now.
I am, and I'm going to turn off a little thing here because it's not completely integrated just yet. So I'm not going to load in the stool. I'll just load in the piano so you guys can see that.
Now, as Stephen said earlier, using your mobiGlass, you'll be able to swap a loadout. You basically, the piano doesn't go in the center of the room like where he's got it. It will actually take the place of the conference table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You leave it in the center for now. We can imagine it being over.
It'll be a little catty cornered here. I want it to face inwards towards the room, like if you were in a lounge. That way, the piano player is actually facing the people in the room. So this is the piano. Props team did their piece on this, and then when I got it, I did a couple little bit more details, and then I had to do a key swap to start setting up some functionality there.
And what functionality are we setting up?
So we've got some different tiers that we want to do for the piano functionality. I think we're just calling it piano roll. And tier 0 is just having this right here in there. And then what we want to do is we want to have the keys light up when a song is played, which made my head almost explode. I was watching Westworld at the time. This was brought up, and I was like, "Oh yeah, we could scroll a texture, just like they did on the old Wild West scrolly auto players." So that's what we did. Talked to the sound department, and they had a script written up real quick where they can just take one of their authored songs and literally just hit a button and it prints out a MIDI chart, and then I use that MIDI chart to scroll across the key UVs, which will light the glow up as the song plays in unison.
I feel like I owe a number of people and a number of departments an apology, because we were deep into the development of the Phoenix when I walked over. When I walked over to your half of the office and said, "Hey, are you guys doing anything about the piano?" And
I was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And everybody was like, "What?" And I'm like, "Hold on." And I went back to my desk and I brought over all this stuff. I'm like, "Yes, there's supposed to be a piano," and all the information is like that. So it's it's one of those things when you do 100 and some odd ships and your development's going over so many years, and there's a lot of different designers. This has gone through a number of designers over the years. It's like that. Some things get lost, and part of my job and the job of everybody on the community team, Tyler and Ulf and everything, is to make sure that we put this information in front of you.
Yeah.
So I felt bad, but you guys have. I can say that what's come of the piano has far exceeded my expectations. I was just like, you just got to make a thing. Put it in there.
Yeah, that was like, it was just like, the piano. And I think I just like turned around to Chris Smith, and I was just all like, piano? There's a piano in here?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they're like, yeah, there's some pianos. I was like, oh.
Yep.
So yeah, that got thrown on there. There's a similar situation with the Emerald as well.
Yes, let's talk about the Emerald. Actually, we have one of the questions of the Emerald is, will there be any interior difference for the Phoenix Emerald? We know the exterior is greenish.
Right now, currently, the interior material is exactly the same, but if you see back here, there is a material ID. This is called the accent material, and I'm probably going to just match the green for the accent material so that you get those shots of green a little different, so you know where you were at.
What you've just
What
said
ship
is
you're on.
so much work for me.
Yeah, and that's why we've been kind of like,
All right. We see a number of questions. Hot tub water physics?
So the water physics is actually something that the engine team is working on, because they're making water for the planets. So that's not something that's going to be in 3.3 right now.
Yeah, we haven't actually attempted to do I was asking about that before we even started. I'm like, how are we doing the water? And they're like, we don't have that yet, so just wait. And then attaching it to a ship was even beyond that. So I was like, all right, well, I guess I'll just make a tub then, and we'll wait. And I'll just keep maybe water volume or however you guys want to handle it in mind.
Yep.
The different ways to do water.
Yeah, and just to head off any misunderstandings that might have come, Hosmer is not saying that water won't be in 3.3. He's saying that the hot tub water won't be in 3.3.
Water attached to a ship.
Yeah, water inside a ship
Yes.
will not be in 3.3.
Putting water inside of a ship's internal physics grid.
Oh yeah, it's going to be fun.
Yep.
Especially in 0G. To answer that 0G portion, I want to see that.
I think we
all want to see that. It'll be a question about whether we have the time and the resources to dedicate to that.
Yeah.
I think we can safely say everybody wants to see the water rise out of the.
I want to see how many people drown in the 0G water hot tub.
It's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time.
One of the suggestions from Chad, not a question but a suggestion. He says they say for the emerald, what about changing the logo to a 4-leaf clover?
Oh, that was pitched early.
Was it?
Yes, there was like a bespoke decal on the outside, and I think overall, from almost all, from the non-artists and they took many stabs at that actual decal. Our department was just like, no, because it's still a luxury ship. So
it's
they
still
were
a
like,
Phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's still a Phoenix. It's just paint variation, and then they were like, as soon as that decal went on there, they were like, that doesn't look baller.
It's 3.
Yep.
It's 3. Let's see, what else do we got here? Let's see. As far as combat capabilities, how would you compare the Phoenix to the Andromeda?
So it has similar
The stock
loadouts to the Andromeda. Other than the remote turret that will be added later, it has the exact same number of hard points.
Mm-hmm.
The stock loadout is going to have different guns. I can't remember exactly which guns that are on there right now, but they are different. I think
it'll have the competition grade power plant.
It'll have the competition grade power
plant. The components
plants.
aren't exactly the same.
Yeah, so I mean the components are going to be different, but the hard points are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So
really, as far as combat capabilities, you're talking about a little more juice for the weapons,
mm-hmm.
and the addition of that remote turret.
Exactly.
So
yeah,
similar, but I mean, would you say that default makes it a little better than an additional gun and more juice for the guns tells me it's more capable.
Yes, but you're going to need like another person to operate all those guns.
Yeah. So all right. The remote turret will be automated. Eventually, it's automated. That's what the original point defense was. Mm-hmm. It's an automated weapon, so it'll have an AI blade.
Oh yeah. That's right. Okay.
Yeah. That's what I'm here for. I'm here to catch you when you fall, baby. You know I'd take care of you. All right, let's see what else we got. Are you inside the? I look away for like a minute, and you're inside the fish tank.
I did fly in the fish tank briefly.
I do like the two-sided fish tank, though. That's the only place we've seen that so far in game is the Million Mile High Club, I think, right? Mm. The two-sided fish tank. Is there one?
Yeah, it was one-sided, and then I think that was a CR request. They're like, make that 2. I was like, all right.
Turn the fish tank into a window. That's it.
Yeah, the tech team was getting a little. They were like, this is a lot of glass. Because I think I can line up. For anyone who's not familiar, like glass looking through glass, looking through glass, looking through glass is considered bad. So
yes, plus
right now I'm looking through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 panes of glass at the same time, and I'm not even including the glass bottles over there. Yeah. That's too much to count.
We're basically out of time. Let's show the bedrooms one more time for people who missed it at the beginning real quick. Let's just zoom through the bedrooms because we've got a number of requests for that. right, so here's our master bedroom.
And there still is some space. I left some space because of like accoutrements, like doing dressers, cabinets, different storage type
Lockers to put
items.
your clothes.
Yes. So I left the space for that. Wasn't directly responsible for implementing that just yet. So I wanted to make sure we had the space for that stuff.
Now we have guest bedroom number 1. Actually, technically, on this tour, this was guest bedroom number 2. But
Yeah.
I call this GR right, guest room 2, right side. You get a fish tank and a TV. That's all you get.
what more does a person need than a fish tank and a TV?
I mean, I could just
How do you feed those fish?
right here.
Wait, if you're the one asking, we're in trouble, Hosmer.
Sorry.
It's automated,
It's
man.
all automated.
It's an automated.
Yeah.
There'll be a fish food component.
Mm-hmm.
There will not be a fish food component.
You have to keep a good stock of it, otherwise everything's just gonna die.
All right, Josh, Stephen, that's it for the show. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day. And when we do these shows here at noon, it's over our lunch. So I appreciate you taking your lunch to be here. I know everybody's crunching for 3.3 and for CitizenCon and stuff like that. So it's one of the reasons we do this show at lunch. I buy our developers lunch and ask them to come here and spend their lunch with me. So I stay out of their way as far as development. So other than that, CitizenCon. CitizenCon tickets are still available now. You can go to citizencon.com and get tickets. I think that is actually wrapping up rather soon. It may be wrapping up at the end of today, actually, if I'm not mistaken. So if you have been on the fence about joining us in Austin, Texas, we still have a limited number of tickets that are still available. You can check that out now at citizencon.com or robertspaceindustries.com/citizencon if you like typing more URL letters than you have.
It's going to be my first one.
Yeah, that's right. This is going to be your first one. It is in Austin where CitizenCon began, so I was excited to go back. It'll also be our biggest show. I mean, that is what's been taking up most of my life, is planning 2 simultaneous live streams and all this stuff. It is the biggest show we will have ever attempted, and not just for what you guys are seeing at home, for what the folks going in attendance will see. I'm excited about a lot of the stuff. Keep an eye out on our social media channels. We're starting to tease a couple of things there. I won't spoil it. So. And then, of course, Calling All Devs every Monday. Be sure to check that out. And remember to submit your questions each and every week up on the thread, up on Spectrum, and vote. No, that is not a flamethrower behind me. It's specifically not a flamethrower. I got mail.
That is a guitar behind me, though.
What is a flame? Where?
No, there's not a flamethrower behind me.
But what do they think is a flamethrower?
They think something is a flamethrower. It's not a flamethrower.
Is it that gun box?
So it's something I left in the back, and it should have moved out of frame before we started the show. So for Reverse the First Live, I'm content manager Jared Huckabee. That is systems designer Stephen Hosmer, and in the box, that's this direction. That is vehicle artist. What was your title now? What's your actual title?
3D artist.
3D artist.
That's what it says in my contract.
Josh Coons.
Senior baller.
We'll see you next week, everybody. Take care.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.